Hello, everyone, and welcome to D&D News. How's it going? I'm Greg Tito. We got some new fun stuff happening over here, and I wanted to show it off today for D&D News. What do you guys think about all that? I am excited to be streaming live here. Now I'm, of course, checking out to make sure everything sounds okay. Hey, Rain Midnight, how are you? Aggie Bear, Hanselman, good to see you. ICDC, hello. Jack, doing good. Ashley, hi everyone. Does this sound okay? Everything look okay? One thing I want to show now before it goes away is my brand new mini cam. What? Look at those miniatures. They are in mostly high definition. Don't scroll on the window when you're showing it, buddy. What do you guys think? Pretty good looking mini cam, huh? I'll be showing off more of them in the days to come if my phone still works. I'm using my phone as another camera, as you can kind of see back here, and I plugged it in because I'm like, oh, the power might drain if that is on the whole hour without, me looking at it and the camera on. But then right before we started, which is why I started a little bit late, the phone shut down due to overheating. It wasn't because it was out of battery. It was too hot. So now I'm wondering if charging it is the bad thing, but here it is again in all of its glory. Miniatures from WizKids. I will be opening up more boxes here from Volo's and Mordenkainen's Foes, Icons of the Realms. This came out and is available now, and I like opening them up and seeing what we get in the blind box. I will not be opening up this box of Girl Scout cookies. No, I will not. Maybe later. Maybe at the end as a celebratory type of thing with what we've got going on here. All right, checking the chat again. Hello. Yes, what do you guys think? I am excited for talking through things with you, and I see Stinkfat in here. I know it's a thing I do so that I don't say, I don't know if that's, if you've ever done any public speaking, but it can be very hard to remove the ums and ahs, which I still do, obviously, very often. But if you see a cadence in my voice change, that's because of that. I'm trying to not be filling up things in my vocal thing there. So no worries about there. And I understand, people like to talk through different things that they see, but that is the reason why it is difficult to do a stream of consciousness show like this without doing some pauses or as you do out there. I don't know. As a DM, I'm out there and I'm constantly using ums and ahs as my brain is trying to come up with fun stuff to talk about. Something I've always been working on, trying to improve. So no worries. I appreciate the feedback there. Anywho, I'm going to be talking about some fun stuff going on in Dungeons and Dragons, such as some things that we've had out there in the world. I have been, like many of you, reading Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. It is a fantastic 304-page tome of awesomeness put together by you can see the ring light in there, put together through a wonderful collaboration between the Dungeons & Dragons team, Matthew Mercer, Chris Lockey, and a bunch of amazing other writers from the Critical Role world fandom, critter fandom, as well as the Dungeons & Dragons world. So I wanted to shout out some fun stuff that I saw in here that I loved, and that is the Pantheon of Exandria. Many of D&D's settings out there have described various deities and other things, but what I like about this one is that it has commandments, something that your deity or the deity of this world might say, or a cleric out there might use as an adage or something out there. And I think these are some of the most distilled amount of world building in the deities section here that I just really found amazing. So some of them I'm going to read aloud for Avandra. Avandra is the change bringer known in Matthew Mercer's world. Her commandment is one that I use often in my life, and you should too. Luck favors the bold. Your fate is your own to grasp, and to do so is to have the change bringer behind you. That is something that I try to emulate in my life, to move forward and always be bold in your choices. I don't know, it doesn't always work out, but it is something that is very exciting as a chaotic good person myself. Another commandment of Avandra: change is inevitable. The righteous can ensure that such change is for the better. Rise against tyranny. That's another commandment, one that we should all be holding dear in our hearts. Fight for the freedom of yourself and others when you can, and inspire others to fight when you cannot. Good words. Some other commandments out here that I really enjoyed from Arathis. Strive to tame the wilds in the name of civilization, and defend the points of light and order against the chaos and darkness. I like this sly mention of the points of light. I struggle to call it a campaign setting. It was more of just an idea that was put forth during the 4th edition era of how Dungeons & Dragons was, setting-wise, was projected out there. But good on you guys for putting that in there. Ioun, the knowing mentor, is another deity that is within Exandria, and described here in Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. The commandments of Ioun. Unmask those who would destroy Ioun. Learn their secrets and unveil them to the world. Uphold and teach the importance of reason, perception, and truth in guiding one's emotions and path. Condemn those who lie without moral cause, for evil folk gain power when their followers obscure the truth. Never stoop to the level of selfish liars. I like these. The way I'm reading them is hopefully how you're reading them in your campaign, as these dramatic things that a cleric or an adherent to these faiths might say. The commandments of the Raven Queen, a very interesting figure in general, but also within the world as depicted by Matthew Mercer. Death is the natural end of life. There is no pity for those who have fallen. The path of fate is sacrosanct. Those who pridefully attempt to cast off their destiny must be punished. Undeath is an atrocity. Those who would pervert the transition of the foal must be brought down. I believe in all of those things. All right, I'm going to be, just to throw it out there, I'm going to have some commandments of the fallen betrayer gods, who are in opposition to the others. What are they? They're called something else. I want to make sure I get it right. Not the betrayer gods, but the prime deities that battled the primordials. So Vecna is one that you may know if you follow the campaign 1 of Critical Role very closely, as well as what's happening nowish. A commandment of Vecna. Learn all you can and keep hidden that which you know. Reveal what pieces you must, but never the whole. Express and cultivate the evil within yourself, and in doing so, recognize it in others, and exploit them for your own benefit. Seed the ruin of all who worship other deities until only those who kneel before Vecna remain. I like how in some ways these are opposites to the commandments of the prime deities, and there's a lot more information on those gods and how they operate or don't within Exandria and Wildemount. But again, I love the distillation of what those deities are all about within. So I hope those of you are picking up Explorer's Guide to Wildemount in whatever fashion you can. Of course, it is deliverable by many online marketplaces, including Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, and D&D Beyond. You can also download an adventure for free. And I want to make sure I get the right one out there. Yes, you can get your first taste of Explorer's Guide to Wildemount with a free adventure preview featuring everything you need to run Frozen Sick, which is one of the 4 adventures included within this book. Oh, and there's my phone just went dead again. So I'm going to have to reboot it during D&D Rewind so that you guys can get some more of the awesomeness behind me. So yeah, you can download that for free right now on D&D Beyond and Roll20.net, as well as figure out or expand your repertoire of playing D&D online during these times when we're experiencing social distancing across the country and the world. We have an amazing article up on dnd.wizards.com/articles/remote that has a bunch of tips and tricks, including links to the basic rules for Dungeons & Dragons, which are a 180-page PDF that's completely free for anyone to download and start playing right now, as well as some other links to playing through virtual tabletops, that free adventure, as I mentioned, as well as all of the wealth of information that's available on DM's Guild and Dragon Plus, which you can download on your phone, a couple of dice rollers, some many call-outs to support content creators during this time, as well as watching all of the material that we're presenting here on twitch.tv/DND. And then we also recently added a whole roundup of articles written by our media partners out there that go into even more detail about what is available for you to play with right now. So a great resource for you. Please spread the word about it as much as you can. Get more people playing Dungeons and Dragons right now, because I think it's going to be really great for those of you out there who are struggling with a way to have an outlet and have a kind of a social way out there. So make it happen if you can. Okay, so that was Explorer's Guide to Wildemount. It is out there and it is amazing. Those of you who already have it, I'm sure, are extolling its wonders. We have some other fun things out there. I was showing off this earlier, but this is a flump of adorable power. It is adorable. This is a pink one. I believe there is a green one also available. Here, allow me to use some of my amazing buttons here. These are the new figurines of adorable power that are now available from Ultra Pro. There were 2 previous. There was an owl bear as well as a red dragon, but this is the flump, and as you can see, that green flump there is shown, but this is the pink version, and it's got a nice little hi guys, how are you? Maybe I can make my eyes be the same as that guy. I am a flump down in my soul, so I feel it. Also, maybe it's just because I'm gassy often. I don't know. We'll see. You can get those from Ultra Pro. As I said, there is a bunch, and they are adorbs. But as I was mentioning some of the press that is Roundup, I wanted to go into a little bit more detail for it on the news that we have had out there. So this one is from our friends at Bustle. How to have a Zoom game night. The cool thing about D&D is it's an imagination-based game. Imagination-based game. You can also use whatever names and accents you might want when you are mispronouncing words. But yes, that is you know what? I messed up on these buttons. I really should have had a live cam up there so I could switch back before it a lot easier. But yes, Bustle. This one goes into detail about about how to play using Zoom, which is fantastic. It is a wonderful resource out there. And it's something that you can easily play on Zoom until you can meet up with your friends in real life. That's very, very, very important. We also have this one from IO9. Dungeon Mayhem, Dungeons & Dragons, and the Rick and Morty and Betrayal Legacy are in their roundup of 15 unique board games and RPGs for families, noting how Dungeon Mayhem is a great way to get the ball rolling to introduce kids to D&D. And the D&D versus Rick and Morty starter kit takes Dungeons & Dragons and adds the quirkiness of Rick and Morty to spice it all things up. Very, very true. Lots of tongue-in-cheek jokes, but it's also a surprisingly effective learning tool, and I agree very much so about Dungeon Mayhem with that one. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that it is very, very easy to learn, and the Monster Madness expansion pack within it is a box unto itself. Where do I have it? It's over there somewhere. I eventually do want to get a cam that focuses this way so you can see my board game collection over there. Actually, I think I have it upstairs because we were playing it recently. It is fantastic at getting folks who may not know much about Dungeons & Dragons, and you get some of those things out there that are very good for learning the concepts and I wouldn't dare I say tropes of D&D. So that's a cool thing for sure. I also want to speak on this from Sci-Fi Wire. Dungeons & Dragons players turned to virtual tabletops in record numbers due to coronavirus and the social distancing that's going on. Opportunity for players who are moving to the virtual world to take their campaign to the next level. There is a bunch of information packed into this article. It is really a good highlight of what is available out there. And I'm opening up right now, and I wanted to give a call out to James Greeby, who was the author for this. And it has interviews with Doug Davison, who it has interviews from Doug Davison from Fantasy Grounds. He's the president and owner of Smiteworks, as well as speaking to Nolan T. Jones from Roll20. And they are confirming that there are a lot more people jumping in and playing D&D right now during this time, and you should too. There's even some quotes from Adam Bradford in there about how D&D Beyond is getting an uptick in users. As he says here, the last couple of weeks in particular, we're seeing higher than ever before engagement on the platform, as obviously people are staying home and trying to entertain themselves through gaming. And I found the stuff about D&D Beyond particularly enlightening because there are folks in there who are doing so not just, even to play D&D, but just to learn about it, to make characters. Dungeon Masters in there creating encounters and all that noise is pretty great. And I think we're going to see a lot more upticks over the course of these weeks and months going forward as more folk jump into Dungeons & Dragons and want to learn more. I know I've been using D&D as well as Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds as a nice introductory point to finding out about the game and the wealth of information that's out there, as well as just being able to quickly look up what the stat block for a goblin might be in Dungeons & Dragons. That's what I use D&D Beyond for so much. It's amazing. Okay, and then finally, I want to talk about USA Today's article. Again, going into how Dungeons & Dragons while social distancing, and it's free to try the newest Critical Role inspired source book out there. This is a double whammy. Not only are they talking about how folks can get together and play Dungeons & Dragons during this time, but they're also touting the Critical Role free adventure that is available for folks to jump into if they were fans of that show. Provides new, potentially inspiring material for seasoned D&D veterans. I might disagree with that quote a little bit. It is definitely got a whole bunch of stuff in there for D&D veterans, but also for D&D noobs who may have been introduced to playing this game through watching Critical Role and the antics therein. So that's good stuff, and I hope you check out those articles, and we will definitely be seeing an uptick in more than as this spreads and more people find out the wonders of being able to play this game despite being in their houses with their families. You might even see there's some accoutrements of me getting ready to play D&D with my family. We have been focusing on a lot of homeschooling and kind of figuring out how to balance working as well as play. Most of the play has been focused on things like Animal Crossing and video games that have a little bit less of a need for all of us to be playing together. But we have plans to begin a family campaign of Dungeons and Dragons using the characters that my daughters have created, as well as several that my wife has that she's played in one-shots here and there. So that should be really fun, and I'll start updating you all with that as we go forward. As well, I am putting the first kind of wheels in motion about creating content, and I'm throwing this out there to those of you who may be able to provide some feedback. Lore You Should Know is a segment I do on Dragon Talk, which is all about me asking questions of experts and drawing out information from them about a specific lore topic in Dungeons and Dragons. I think I might try that exact same framework with learning how to play Dungeons and Dragons online through cameras using Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds. I'll probably split my attention through both of them. The virtual tabletop tools there are extremely robust, but sometimes you just need that guided hand to illustrate all of the powers of that tool. And so I'm hoping to do that with our two partners in that, with their virtual tabletops, and stream that content. So you'll be watching me learn in real time, as well as potentially pushing that to Facebook afterwards, Facebook and YouTube and all other video on demand services, so that those become a resource for people who might want to jump in and see what it's all about. There's wealth of tutorials and content out there right now, but there's something about having a active person such as a host or something like that draw that information out and act as the surrogate for the audience. So I'm hoping that comes together really soon, and that you will enjoy it. I hope so anyway. Got my fingers crossed. We're going to be doing a lot more on that going forward. Another great resource for all of that is the wonderful wealth of content that is available right now on twitch.tv/DND. There has been so many great shows continuing to produce stuff throughout this time. And I am going to show all of you them right now in a little segment of D&D news called D&D Rewind, where we take some of the best role-playing, funniest, most serious moments from the last week here on this channel, and added them all together with a highlight reel that we call D&D Rewind. And so we're going to show that to you as I get to the right button. I'm going to show that to you right about now. Thanks, you guys. I'm going to get that camera set up back there so you can see those minis more.
With a bite out of his neck. I'd like you to make a quick medicine check for me.
Okay. It's a natural one.
Okay, you don't know anything. And in this moment, as the vampire spawn burst from the ceiling and land, the stained glass window that surrounds the church explodes in a shatter of colored glass as swarms of bats enter the church and start to swarm and circle all around the party.
No, bats, go!
The one bat starts to descend, and as it begins to land, you see it transform into a humanoid. This person is tall, 6 feet, incredibly handsome, pallid skin, lightly armored. And I'd like to introduce our guest for this evening, Mr. Matt Mercer as Strahd.
Boom.
Oh.
Matt, it is your initiative order, sir.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh. So it would seem it is.
So we're going to die.
That is up to you, I think.
This is a wonderful day. Multiple enemies in the wide open wilderness. I feel very optimistic about this. I say the first word of the Eldritch language, and I say it from the top of my horse. Then I jump off of my horse and flip to the ground, hit it in a very cool pose, and I say the second syllable of the magic of the Eldritch Knights. That is where I leave my second image of the mirror images. Then I roll and back handspring into my final position and call my glaive into my hand. This is where I leave the third of my mirror images. Then I roll to the side and stand amongst them. One on the horseback, one in a cool pose, one with the glaive in his hand, and one standing in the wind. But they don't know which one that is. Mirror image is cast. I am waiting. Let us do battle.
I'm going to cast Twin Polymorph on the werewolves. And Mercy's just thinking to herself, like, makes them strong, makes them terrifying. And she closes her eyes and they transform into 2 T-Rexes.
Cool.
But I'd like for them to still be covered in, like, wolfy fur. Can they just be, like, really huge werewolves?
I will allow them to transform into 20-foot tall werewolves.
Yes!
I was hoping that maybe you could just have them be T-Rexes wearing werewolf kikirubies.
Oh my god.
Oh my god! No, I take that back. Can it be that?
What it is they're like 20-foot tall Yoshis wearing the wolf-like outfit and like the tail.
Yeah, and Mercy's like, yes, terrifying.
It was not me you faced last. It was a mere simulacrum, weak and pathetic. You have not faced the real Manchun yet. Do we have a deal?
We don't have much of a choice.
Well, the problem is, what if we don't know something we're doing is working contrary to your motivations?
With a sigh, he looks up and raises a finger towards Flinrick, who has come on into the room. And with black energy, he hits the wirely halfling square in the chest as he looks down and looks back at you, and Flinrick mutters, "Why?" before collapsing to the ground.
I'm sorry, but I don't think I heard you correctly. Do we have a deal?
Yes. Stop.
Good.
So you walk in, and that's what you see. And then next to him, you see a Minotaur. The Minotaur is like so dark-skinned as to be almost onyx, and is wearing a like a gold kilt, and has probably not in hand, but sitting very nearby, 2 enormous scimitars. So let me show you these 2. There you go. Sweet. So you see these 2, and they're waiting for you when you come in. And so when you do, when you all enter, Arkan looks at you, Sathra, and he says, Krull told me you've got something for me. Let me see it.
I pull the orb out.
Oh, yeah! That's an orb of dragon kind. Give it here. And he puts out his gnarled hand.
Up. Blood of Tiamat. Blood of Tiamat, then you get it.
And he looks at you, he's like, you dare request something of me? That orb is my property. I'm the chosen one. Don't you understand?
Your boy already told me that it would be the deal.
You can't listen to that nerd. You gotta listen to me. I'm Arkan the Cruel. You're not gonna find anybody crueler in all of Avernus. I'm the chosen of Tiamat.
So are we gonna do this, or?
And he looks at Torgor, and then he looks at you, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we are." and he says, "The big turtle told me you need some blood. Blood of Tiamat, the Dragon Queen. Is that right?"
I also just told you that.
That's right. And he like flexes for some reason. He's just like, "Yeah, my hearing's not so good."
My ear muscles got too big.
That's right, exactly.
All right. I was struggling to figure out how to be able to listen to that with my current setup, and I wasn't able to do it. So I was able to see a lot of what was happening. And so kudos to everyone who was in those clips. I am incredibly envious of Adam Cobal's amount of mastery of the Roll20 platform, I could say. And he's definitely someone who I might want to tap to learn more, since he seems to have it down and concentrate on the fun and the role playing, which is how I like to play D&D for sure. So, love all of that. There's going to continue to be more and more great D&D content happening throughout the many months coming forward on twitch.tv/D&D. And I encourage all of you out there to continue to take clips of what you see or your favorite moments and get them out there for everyone to comment on, to view, to go viral, as they say. And then Steve Sprinkles, our editor who puts together D&D Rewind, will take all that information and put it into that week's D&D Rewind. So good stuff there. As always, as we're doing more and more of this, and anybody has any ideas for improvements or how to try something new, or got some ideas for how to get the D&D community more learned up on how to play online during this time, definitely give me a shout out. I'm at Greg Tito on Twitter, and I'm always open to more and wonderful ideas from the community and elevating different creators out there. So don't get a chance to get to every single person who is talking through it or on Twitter at me, but I really, really appreciate it. So make it known out there, and as well, watch all the stuff that's coming out here and everywhere else that people are doing online now. I think it's really inspiring, the amount of creativity that has been spawned by folks being trapped in their house. And I want to see more of it out there and hopefully participate in some of it as it's coming out. All right. So I got my mini cam set up again. I got my faithful flump friend behind there. Ooh, let me trim that window a little bit. I can do that. I am a master of OBS now. Here, I'm going to press the Alt button and change that. The one thing I couldn't figure out was how to make sure this was centered. But so if anybody's got any idea about that, let me know. I'll be adding to that stage right there with some miniatures in a little bit. But you might have noticed some of the lower third under here, as well as the background here, has got a little bit of a facelift, and that is in honor of our upcoming book supplement setting, Mythic Odysseys of Theros. These are the covers that we announced, and we are going to make this available on June 2nd of this year. Mythic Odysseys of Theros is a book that details what is going on in the Magic the Gathering setting of Theros. We did Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica last year, and this is another one in that vein. What is exciting about Theros is it is inspired by Greek myths, or just the classical era of our own planet's history, our own plane in the multiverse's history. So it doesn't have Poseidon and Zeus in it, but it has gods that are inspired by that, as well as the underworld and the gods within there. So you see a lot of classical monsters like hydras depicted here on these covers. The one on the left is the standard cover. It is by Jason Rainville and is fantastic. As you can see, the spear going across it there. And then there is, I think, my favorite alt cover, just in its almost cosmic glory, which was, and I want to get the name right, which was painted and illustrated by Kevin Tong. So lots of great stuff within here that you can mine for use with your campaign, especially if you want to introduce some of the mythic nature of these things. So there's Leonin and Satyr. Those are two new races that you can play, as well as some new subclasses, the Bard's College of Eloquence and the Paladin's Oath of Heroism. Those two subclasses are available basically to pull out, and you can use them whenever, but they fit in very well with the Theros campaign. There's also some supernatural gifts, abilities that you set your character apart, that you use to set your character apart from the common throng. Mechanically, they're a little bit similar to character races, but they give you a variety of traits, almost as if you are blessed by the gods. So cool stuff there. And again, we'll have more information on Mythic Odysseys of Theros in the coming months as we get closer to the release. And I'm very excited about it. I've been playing Magic Arena a lot, and they've been in Theros for a few weeks / months, I guess, at this point. And so a lot of the cards that I've been playing with are described in detail in the Theros book, which I'm excited for you all to jump into when it is out. Some other fun things that I wanted to make sure to highlight for y'all who are watching. Scooby Doo, Betrayal at Mystery Mansion. Yes, we are making a betrayal game that is set in the Scooby Doo universe. It was meant to time up very well with the release of Scoob! Which is a new movie starring some voice actors and some that I'm disappointed are not in it, or not starring in it. I don't know if I can say that, but I did. But the Betrayal at Mystery Mansion is a fantastic translation of the Betrayal at House on the Hill gameplay of exploring a house tile by tile, room by room, and then a haunt occurs, and all of a sudden the rules change and shift, and it maps very well to episodes and themes that have been taking place in Scooby-Doo history over the years. So you might see some favorite episodes that you remember from your youth or ones that you saw recently dramatized in a what are they called? Haunt. That's in Betrayal at Mystery Mansion. That's super cool. And that one is scheduled to come out on May 15th. We shall see. Very excited for that. I also want to jump to some fun things at the Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League. So I don't have any video images for this, but I do want to highlight some fun things going on with Adventurers League. It is a official D&D play campaign allowing you to create a character and take them from your home game to game stores, everything that is playing an Adventurers League system, you can take that character and bring it there. There's some really fun stuff that's going on with supporting of the Dungeon Masters Guild, including a bundle supporting Doctors Without Borders. I'll get to that in a second. But those of you who are playing Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus and the Adventurers League official campaign Avernus Rising, there are a bunch of new releases on the DMs Guild this month. You know what? I'm realizing that maybe we did not update this. Let me just make sure I'm doing the exact right thing. Nope. That is Infernal Encounters. They fan the flames of the Nine Helms with a legion of random encounters, a new Infernal War Machine, and the addition of driving stunts. That's pretty cool. And there's three new Avernus Rising adventures ready for your table. The Breath of Life, The Swarmed Heart, and The Vast Emptiness of Grace. They each take you to Archdevil's Ball, threaten Mahadi's Emporium, the Traveling Emporium, or send you on a quest for an ancient artifact. That's pretty cool stuff. And you can download those adventures on the Dungeon Masters Guild. And then coming up on April 28th, the Avernus Rising campaign will continue with Doors and Corners, a 3-part series. That's exciting. You'll be able to traverse the Canyon of Screams and enter the Bloody Hooves tomb. But you got to hurry up because Zariel, the archdevil in charge of the plane of Avernus, or the layer of hell called Avernus, is hot on your trail. Hot. Get it? It's hot on your trail. See what's going on there. You can, of course, find out more about Adventurers League D&D online play going to dndadventurersleague.org and find out how to jump in. Some techniques, programs, and resources are available and described therein for you. As well, you can take all the stuff you might have learned from the Play Safe, Stay Safe article I mentioned earlier with a whole bunch of online sources ready for you there. All right, I want to check in on our minicam to make sure everything's still working. Can you guys see us? Can you see the minicam? It's working. All right, good. All right, in that case, I want to do Dungeon Masters Guild, and then I'm going to open up some minis and actually show it off to y'all before. Gosh, we only got 15 minutes left. This is going by fast, people. I haven't been checking the chat very much, so I apologize for that. How are you all doing? More puns, yes. Krizakan, I will do more puns for sure. I like DM Glal's Not Like This. Very, very good. All right. Dungeon Masters Guild. for those of you who don't know, DungeonMastersGuild.com is your go-to marketplace for licensed D&D adventures and supplements. Do you need a last-minute one-shot? Are you crafting? And do you need the perfect player options for your character concept? Do you need rules for building custom golems, harvesting and crafting with monster loot, and more? Well, the Dungeon Masters Guild is for you. Some new news for you. If you are unable to gather your party right now, but you're still ready to adventure, the DM's Guild has a list of solo and duet D&D resources. I love this because there is so much D&D play that can happen on your own or just with one partner. I think this is fantastic. That's D&D that you can play by yourself or with one other person, just in case you were wondering. And there's even tons of new sidekick options which were introduced in the D&D Essentials kit. So some of that stuff is fantastic, and I will be highlighting a little bit of it here now. I don't have an image for all of these, but I do want to show them off. To Hell and Back Again is by Kiana Shaw and Donathan Fry, and it is a perfect adventure for those of you looking to play in a new way. It's written as a solo adventure, so your choices have gigantic consequences, but it also has balanced rules to play with a group or dungeon master if you really needed to. But it's 80 pages. It's an adventure. It's a heart-pounding origin story, and it fits very well as a prequel to D&D's Descent into Avernus. So check that out if you can. It's called To Hell and Back Again, and I think there'll be a link in the chat if there isn't already. Yep, there it is. Thank you. Hannah, you got me. There is also the free option, Executioner's Daughter by Ashley Warren. Hi, Ashley. Soldra is a beautiful ancient city, flanked by sea, mountain, and lit by the sun, as if blessed by the gods themselves. But it comes with a price. After a tumultuous history fighting dragons that attacked and looted said city, the superstitious citizens of Soldra make an offering to appease the dragon god Bahamut. Will this year's sacrificial ceremony go as planned? I think not. What will transpire on Gara's Peak? Only you can tell. Amazing. I love that this was a nominated, award-nominated option. Ashley Warren is a fantastic creator that does lots of wonderful stuff, and you should check out The Executioner's Daughter if you can, because it's free. Why wouldn't you? Just do it now. There's also some duet Dungeons & Dragons adventurers. I will cover them briefly. Beth Ball and Jonathan Ball are an actual real-life couple. Dang it, my minicam broke as I was doing this. I wonder if it just died from me not touching it very often, but I will get it going in just one moment. You can also check out The Blood Hunter, which is a duet adventurer built entirely around the Blood Hunter class created by Matthew Mercer of Critical Role fame. And then, of course, Sidekicks. Again, we introduced these in the D&D Essentials kit. They're really awesome. And yeah, I just realized I could be doing stuff. I just realized I can be rebooting my machine, my phone. It looks like it's got a time where I can only really keep it going for 15 or 20 minutes before it dies from heat, because it is hot to the touch right now. I don't know if it's because of the Wi-Fi going on or what, as well as the camera going on, but this is the third time it's happened in this hour, so seems like it's a thing we gotta fix if we're gonna do more of this minicam. Or maybe I just set it up right before I'm about to do it instead of just leaving it on all day, right? Okay, sorry. I was talking about the duet adventures and the sidekicks that you can jump into. The Wayfinder Foundation's Register of Extraordinary Individuals takes that whole idea of sidekicks and makes it a thing, which I find awesome. The sidekicks are some of my favorite parts of the Essentials kit, and they're very easy to jump in and make happen. So I appreciate all of that. And you can download all that stuff at the Dungeon Masters Guild right now. How's that for doing 4 things at once? Did you like it? Did you like it? I don't want it smooth. I want it manually set. The amazingness there. Okay, you're seeing all me do this in real time. Let's see if I can get it in a place that makes sense. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a little bit too much. All right. Let's do this, people. Let's get some of these minis open. What do you think about that? All right, let's see what we get. I'm very excited to see if this will actually work or not, and if you can see my miniatures in all of its glory. All right. Ooh, this is one I've seen before, but it is not even less creepy. So this is a cave fisher. Minicam engaged. Ooh, don't want to open a new... There we go. Oh. You know what? I need this to lean a little bit so that you can kind of see it. There it is. That's not really a good angle for that one, but perhaps the next one will be a little bit better. What do you guys think? Ooh, I always loved the Eladrin in there. They have the Eladrins for different... that is the Autumn Eladrin. Is that in focus? Let me see if I can do it a little bit. Sorry if you're not going to see it for a second. Did that make it in focus more or out of focus more? I think it went out of focus more. One day we'll figure this out, but we're trying, folks. We're fine. We're trying. I like that you're able to at least see a little bit more detail than you were in the past. I'm going to move that flump, though, so it's a little bit distracting. Ooh, this one is a one I have not seen before, so this is exciting. This is a Chitin. I'm going to remove this guy because I got one more big guy coming. What do you think of that guy, huh? He's got lots of arms. He's like the General Grievous of the D&D world. What do you think about that? I don't think I'm allowed to say that, but I did anyway, huh? Frump looks concerned. That's true. A cave fisher. Okay, then the big one for this box is this creepy Bone Claw is there. Ooh, yeah. The Bone Claw is so big, you can see him back there, and then we'll zoom in again and see the Bone Claw. I like this. You know what we need to do, I'm realizing now, is have a visual of me so that when I open it, you can see it, and then I can put it back there, and you can actually see the transition and then do that. So we'll improve on this plan for next time. But in the meantime, we've got another box of amazing miniatures to open up from our friends at WizKids, and you get to see it. So I'll show you the Bone Claw one more time. Any requests there? Do you guys want to see the back of the Bone Claw or anything like that? So Alpha Stream, Theos, you like the old one. Of course you do. Of course you do. But this one is pretty cool too. You got to admit it's cool. All right, so box is open. I'm going through this one right now as we speak. Let's see if I can do this transition in such a way. Oop, this is one you might want to use for your table. It's a turtle. So let's see. As we put the turtle there, this is one of the turtles that's got a spear in his hand. Turtle Spear. I feel like that's the name of like an upcoming Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles type thing. Turtle Spear. Turtle Spear. All right, we got 3 more minis to show off from this box. Ooh, this one is a. You might have seen him lighting up the stage. It's a shadow dancer, people. All right, here, I'm going to do this a different way. You get to see this. I'm going to put it down here first. And then do the mini cam there. He's dancing with shadow. Let me see if I can rotate him a little bit there. Well, actually bringing him closer makes him a little bit more in focus. I like to show him in profile there with Eric. Now, I actually don't recall the entry for the Shadow Dancer in the Volo's Guide to Monsters or Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. But what is he holding? What is the Shadow Dancer holding right there? Is that a spine? It looks like a spine, and that's gross. You tell me, people. What is it? Oh, I don't think I have one of these yet. So I mentioned how the Eladrin have all of the seasons, but I have not yet seen Winter Eladrin. See, this is out of focus. This is why I'm leveling up and doing this. So I'll show you minicam. Winter Eladrin is there for you. Hello, I'm Winter Eladrin. Hi. I'm Shadow Dancer. All right, I'm already sensing a problem here where I can't talk to you guys because this is a very good microphone, but it can only really pick me up when I am eating it like this. So we're improving. We're getting better as the time goes by, but I have one more miniature, and it is the large miniature from this second box from WizKids. And I'm not going to spoil it. I'm just going to put it on there. And you know what? I'm going to see if you guys can guess it in low res before I reveal it in the mini cam. What do you think about that? Because you can kind of see it back there, right? You see the Winter Eladrin and the Shadow Dancer here. I'm going to put this up and see what you guys, what do you think? Uh-oh. That's not what's there right now. I think I got a notification on my phone as this was happening, which might have shut this down. So let me check that out. Hold on. No, it was just my phone shutting down again. Oi, we'll figure this out. It is hot to the touch. So I wonder if doing this over Wi-Fi is just not feasible, or I just can only do it in 10-minute bursts. Maybe that's what it is. We shall figure it out. Maybe I can do it without the case on, or maybe I'll put it in ice. I don't know. There's probably some video professionals out there who can tell me all about it, but it is exciting. Yeah, maybe Violent Hugger is saying put a small fan on it. That's it. Put it in the fridge. Stick it in the fridge. Stick it in the fridge. I like cold beverages. I like cold beverages. No? Anybody? Anybody got some G11 special sauce in the house? Maybe I'm just messing with you, Hanselman. You'll never know. But here I am trying to figure out how to get this back on so you can see the last miniature. Does anybody have any guess of what the last miniature is, by the way? Can you see it back there? I want someone to guess and see if you got it right before I get it going on. No, it's not the Flumph, although the Flumph is back there. It is not another Eladrin. It is a large miniature, I will tell you that. It is not a Beholder, Tolwyn 54. It is not a Frog. Jack, a big frog, nasty looking thing I might accept. I might accept that. I don't know. We'll see. Use a laptop cooler. Thank you, Kenjia. That's a good idea. Theos wins. As soon as I get this figured out, I'll show you it for reals. Oh, he's pretty good right there. I'm just going to do it. Can you guys see that? Yeah, it is a Banderhob. What's up, Banderhob? Hey, I'm just chilling like a villain. He's looking good, Banderhob McGee. Good to see you. No problem, Greg. It is Chonky Banderhob, Violet Hugger. Very good. All right, everyone. That was super fun. We are always going to be attempting to try new things here on the D&D as well as on D&D News. So I appreciate for you all being here with me in this world. And of course, I feel like I didn't get to show off this shirt very much because I was wearing my flannel. But this is pretty good. It's established in 1974. That means it's cool. You are all the best. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sticking with Dungeons & Dragons and playing with it all during this time. Mr. Banderhob says bye. I'm going to say goodbye too. Thank you. I'll be back with D&D News at 3 p.m. Pacific time live on twitch.tv/D&D. But of course, you can always watch this on the YouTubes as well, and I appreciate you for doing so. Everyone is great. Go roll some more dice. I'm going to go roll all of my dice right now. I'm going to guess how many D20 natural 20s I just rolled. 16 is the answer. That's right. 16 natural 20s at once. I'm the luckiest person on the world. Mostly because I get to hang out with you fine folks on this Tuesday. Bye, everybody.